Let me say this right up front. This Epstein story just exploded again, and the Department of Justice may have done more damage to itself in 1 week than in years. Because how do you go from release the files, to there are no files, to this is a hoax, and then suddenly say, actually, we just found over 1 million more documents?
The fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein file release was on President Trump's mind over Christmas. He used one of his dozens of holiday posts to wish, quote, "Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleazebags who loved Epstein." It comes as the Justice Department now says it has uncovered more than 1 million additional documents potentially related to the case, and that it may need a few more weeks to review and release them to the public. Under the law signed by President Trump in November, all the DOJ Epstein documents were supposed to be released last Friday.
Yeah, that's where we are right now. And if that doesn't set off alarm bells for you, nothing will. If you're here for straight talk, no sugarcoating, and real accountability, smash that like button right now. Subscribe to Breaking Supporters, and let's get into it. So here's the background. Over Christmas, President Trump posts what looks like a sarcastic holiday message, referencing sleazebags connected to Jeffrey Epstein. That alone stirred controversy. But then the DOJ drops a bombshell. They admit, on Christmas Eve of all times, that they've discovered more than 1 million additional Epstein-related documents. And suddenly, they need more time. Weeks more. Remember, a law signed in November required these documents to be released already. Not reviewed first, not filtered later, released. And now the excuses are piling up. Former prosecutors come on TV and flat out say, there is no excuse for this. They knew these files existed. They explain something important. When federal prosecutors handle cases like Epstein and Maxwell, they are legally required to gather all relevant government files. That means they had these documents years ago. So the idea that this is some surprise discovery? Come on. That's not diligence. That's damage control. And the public sees right through it. Now let's talk about the reaction, because the comment section is absolutely on fire, and it tells you everything you need to know about where public trust is right now. The first reaction I saw basically summed it up perfectly. Someone said, if there's 1 million more files, then we need more arrests and trials for the co-conspirators. And that's the key word, co-conspirators. Epstein didn't operate alone. Everyone knows that. And the frustration people feel is simple. Where are the consequences? If you agree with that, hit the like button. Then another comment jumped out at me. Someone said, if this is what they're willing to release, imagine how horrific the stuff is they refuse to release. That's chilling, and it explains why trust is gone. Because when you release page after page of blacked out documents, entire pages erased, people don't think privacy protection. They think cover up. Another comment went even further, calling this not just a scandal, but a crime against humanity, saying Watergate doesn't even come close. And whether you agree with that wording or not, the emotion behind it matters. People are angry. People are sick of excuses. And people feel like powerful institutions are protecting powerful individuals. Again, then we get to the blunt ones. One comment said flat out, there is no argument for the DOJ. They are covering up disgusting people. Period. Another said Bondi and Blanche should be prosecuted themselves. Now listen, I'm not here to sentence anyone, but I am here to say this. When public trust collapses this completely, leadership has already failed. Another commenter mocked the whole situation perfectly. They said, found new files? They sound like children lying to an adult. Exactly. You don't misplace 1 million documents. You don't forget where the most infamous case files in modern history are stored. That's not how federal record systems work. Then someone asked the most obvious question of all. How does one misplace 1 million documents? Short answer? You don't. Long answer? You delay, you redact, and you control the narrative. Another powerful comment said, there should be no redactions longer than a name. That's a reasonable position. Protect victims, absolutely. But when entire pages disappear, the public assumes the worst. And honestly, that assumption isn't irrational anymore. Then we get to the bipartisan moment, and this is important. One commenter said they checked Fox News comments and CNN comments, and they look exactly the same. Let that sink in. When both sides agree the DOJ is failing, that's not politics anymore. That's credibility collapse. Someone else said, whether it's incompetence or dishonesty, it's grounds to impeach. And another added, zero credibility left. That phrase keeps coming up. Zero credibility. Now here's where things get even more heated. One comment laid out a timeline pointing out that Epstein was arrested, evidence was collected, and the investigation stalled while Trump was president, implying responsibility. And look, people are going to debate that endlessly. But here's the reality. This case spans multiple administrations, multiple attorneys general, multiple years, which means if accountability only starts when it's politically convenient, it's not accountability at all. Another comment went viral saying Trump calling out sleazebags was basically admitting something himself. Others fired back, calling that projection and media spin. And this is why this story won't die. Because instead of transparency, we're getting narrative warfare. Then you had people calling the DOJ the Department of Corruption. Others saying democracy is off the rails. Others demanding Bondi be fired. Others saying this is the most corrupt administration in American history. And whether you agree with those statements or not, they don't come from nowhere. They come from repeated contradictions. Here's the most damning part. A former prosecutor tried to say this was just a diligence issue, not a cover-up. And the reaction? People were furious. They said that explanation was ridiculous and insulting. Because when you're dealing with this level of crime, this level of history, and this level of public scrutiny, sloppiness is not an excuse. So what happens next? The DOJ says they need more weeks. They say they're reviewing. They say they're protecting victims. But the law doesn't say review first, release later. It says release. And every delay only deepens suspicion. Here's my take, and listen closely. This isn't just about Epstein anymore. This is about whether Americans believe their institutions tell the truth when it matters most. And right now, they don't. If you feel that too, drop a comment below. I read them all. Make sure you subscribe to Breaking Supporters for daily breakdowns that cut through the noise. Because in the next video, we're going to talk about who actually benefits from these delays and why this pattern keeps repeating in Washington. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, stay sharp, stay skeptical, and I'll see you in the next one.